Am I the a-hole for backing out of making my sister-in-law's wedding dress? I, 24 female, am a seamstress/dress designer who works for private clients on commission. 2 years ago, my sister got married, and as my gift to her, I designed and made her wedding dress free of charge, and all her bridesmaid dresses at the cost of raw materials. My brother's then girlfriend, now fiancé, was part of the wedding party and knew I was doing this. Before I even started designing, she asked me if for her and my brother's wedding would I make her dress? I casually agreed. When actually making the gowns, my sister and her other 5 bridesmaids were so nice and pleasant to work with, but my brother's girlfriend was a nightmare. She kept asking me to make changes after we finalized the designs, and I had already started making the dresses. She would cancel and just not show up to fittings. She complained constantly of how it looked tacky and unprofessional. And she even ripped the fabric on purpose when I told her I could not make any more changes, and I had to go on a wild goose chase to get more of the same fabric in the right color. The place I bought it from no longer carried it. My brother proposed 2 weeks ago, and the first thing my new sister-in-law did was come over to me and ask when we could meet to start designing. Now at this point in my career, I have dealt with my fair share of bridezillas and control freaks, and I know how to handle them. So I let her know a time she could come to my studio for a consultation. Last week was her appointment and she came in all excited, but when I brought out my pricing and options for her, she got really mad, saying it wasn't fair to expect her to pay when we were family, and I had given other family theirs for free. I told her nicely that I charge for my work as would any other vendor she got for her wedding, and that we can look at the most affordable package I have if she was concerned about cost. At this, she totally lost it, screaming at me that I'm a worthless bitch whose work isn't even good enough for her, and that she was doing me a favor by letting me have this opportunity. I tried to calm her down so we could talk, but she just got worse, knocking over one of my display cases and shattering glass, beads, and expensive jewelry all over the floor. At that point, I was done and yelled at her to get out of my studio before I called the cops. Later that day, my brother called me and yelled at me for being so disgusting and unwelcoming to his fiancée. I explained to him that I am more than happy to make her gown and her bridesmaids' gowns at a fair price. But he got even more upset and said that I had done our sisters for free, so I should do this one for free too. Now my parents and brother are mad at me, threatening to leave me out of the wedding if I don't make her a free dress, but I still think I should be paid for my work. Am I the a-hole? Update. First of all, thank you for all your comments, positive and negative. They really helped me see what I did wrong, how I could have handled it better, and what I should do going forward. So as many of you suggested, I sat down with my parents and brother and told them the story from my perspective, from how SIL behaved 2 years ago through what happened in my studio last week with the CCTV footage as proof. They were shocked because, as many of you suggested, SIL had been spinning lies to cover up her faults and had been completely fooling them. Right away, my parents apologized for how they treated me, and my brother became very quiet. I told him that I would not be making her a dress anymore regardless of if she would be willing to pay, but if he wanted, I could make him his suit for the wedding, on my own time, since my studio specializes in women's wear. My brother thanked me and left. The next day I got a call from SIL. She was furious. She wanted to know what sort of manipulation and lies I told my brother to make him put the wedding on hold. Apparently after our meeting, he went home and told her that he was very disappointed and hurt she would treat me this way, and he needed time to think about whether this step was the right one, so he put the wedding on hold. Sister-in-law was so mad she came to my apartment and banged on my door for a good half hour. I refused to open the door for her. She was screaming so loudly one of my neighbors ended up calling the cops for a noise disturbance, and she was escorted to the police station. I don't know what happened after that to her. Yesterday my brother came over to my apartment and we had a long talk. It turns out, as some of you were right, and he did feel left out and hurt by my actions. Since my sister is my twin, he has always felt like we both care a lot less about him than each other. We ended up calling my sister on the phone. She lives in a different country now, and all 3 of us had a long tearful talk. I made sure my brother knows that I love him immensely and nothing could ever change that. We hugged it out, and now I believe our relationship is the strongest it's ever been. And I promised on paper that I will make his suit for his wedding free of charge. After I promised, he told us that he no longer wants to marry SIL, and that he has already started looking for a new apartment. He said the decision was not easy, but ultimately he wants to marry someone who can feel at home in the family, not someone who makes his family uncomfortable. So when he does find the right one, I will be making him and not her wedding attire. Thank you all for your help and advice. I will not post any other updates because I believe this matter is over now.